Jason Dill lays it out plain and simple. These dogs are the real deal, packing enough power to tear through flesh and, for some, even break bones. With a sharp command from a trainer, this future four-legged soldier is learning all about controlled aggression. In just a few months, this pup will be ready for duty at a U.S. military base somewhere on the globe. But before they became canine superheroes capable of taking down a full-grown person, they were just like any other clumsy, adorable puppy. Stuart Hilliard finds it pretty remarkable that a key piece of national security actually relies on animals. But hey, the proof is in the paw prints. Right now, about 1,600 of these military working dogs are on active duty across all branches of the U.S. military.
Any aspect of public security.
And for every single one of them, the journey began right here at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas.
Military working dogs currently serving.
We got to spend 2 days with the legendary 341st Training Squadron, getting a behind-the-scenes look at dogs and their handlers at every stage of their training. According to Eric Muyal, no matter how many dogs they graduate, it's never enough to meet the demand from the Department of Defense. They're just that crucial to the mission. At any given moment, several hundred dogs are going through the program, a 120-day crash course split into two major blocks, detection and patrol. Muyal explains that patrol training is basically teaching a dog how to pursue an uncooperative suspect and how to manage all that focused intensity.
At various stages of training.
It's a fantastic less-than-lethal option for military police, giving them a way to apprehend suspects without escalating force. But before any dog gets to play chase the bad guy, they have to become absolute masters of obedience. As Valerie Vigil puts it, you need a solid foundation and basic commands, like sitting down before you can ask them to do it with a million distractions going on. A trainer demonstrates that just telling a dog to sit isn't quite enough at first. By adding a little guidance, the dog gets it right, earning a satisfying yes. They explain that the whole system is built on marker training. The dogs learn to associate that specific word with doing the right thing, all in happy anticipation of a reward.
And patrol work, utilizing real-world scenarios.
Then there's Greta, a total sweetheart who, despite looking like a wise old grandma, is actually quite young. Her trainer has been working with her for about 2 weeks, focusing on stability, getting her to hold a position, even when her handler walks to the end of the leash. The latest breakthrough, getting her to pop up into a perfect sit from a down position. The dogs also have to tackle what's known as the obstacle course, or as the trainers call it, the confidence course. Spencer Bass explains that the whole point is to get them comfortable with any weird obstacle they might encounter on the job, simulating real-world scenarios for when they join police departments. For instance, one obstacle mimics a window, while others simulate navigating narrow spaces, climbing stairs, or leaping over barriers to catch a suspect. Once the dogs have aced their obedience classes and conquered the confidence course, they graduate to the next level, the controlled aggression phase of patrol training. Bernadine Green says that teaching a dog to be aggressive on command isn't just training, it's in their DNA. It all comes down to the dog's background, with generations of parents specifically bred for this kind of work. The Department of Defense typically recruits breeds like Belgian Malinois, Dutch Shepherds, and German Shepherds, all between 1 and 3 years old. Green explains they're looking for a dog that's well-balanced, not easily spooked, and definitely not timid. The ideal candidate is a strong, confident dog that loves to hunt with its nose and is bold enough to bite and defend its handler without a second thought. Every year, the program purchases roughly 400 dogs, most of them from Europe, with the rest coming from the department's own top-notch breeding program right there at Lackland. Hilliard recounts that the breeding program was started back in 1998, serving as a kind of strategic backup plan. Since the military gets most of its dogs from overseas, the thinking was that something could disrupt that supply chain. So, in 1998, they launched this small-scale program to ensure they could always raise their own elite military working dogs. The program raises the puppies until they're 6 weeks old, then sends them to live with foster families in the area until they hit the 7-month mark.
Good.
Hilliard notes that 7 months is the magic age when he can first test the pups
Get her to sit
to
them down.
see if they have the right stuff,
Get her to
as
sit
their
them down.
behavior then is a great predictor of their future performance as adults.
Dogs are also taught.
Puppies who make the grade are brought back to Lackland to
Conquer
get
the
ready
obstacle
for
course.
the official military working dog course. According to Dill, this is where the early stages of controlled aggression training begin, teaching the dogs how to apprehend people.
Good dog. Way to
A
go.
lot of it taps into their
Good
natural,
boy. Okay,
instinctual
let's go right through the
prey
tunnel.
drive. A dog's instinct is
go.
to chase and grab things,
Good dog.
so
General
the
purpose
trainers
is
cleverly
getting
build
them
on those natural drives. After a final test, when they turn 1 year old, between 30 and 50 of these talented
Simulate
pups
stuff.
officially
Police
enter
departments.
the military working dog course each year, where they'll sharpen skills
obstacle
like
simulates a
controlled
window.
aggression even further.
A tear or over some sort of barrier.
Vigil explains that they're training for real-world situations
Chase
where a
down the
handler
suspect.
might need their canine partner to apprehend a suspect.
Once dogs
They
have
use a
solid
method called the 6 phases, which starts with a field interview. This is where someone approaches
Ready to
the
move on.
handler, and the dog has to prove it can
Controlled
stay
aggression phase.
calm and not just lunge at any friendly stranger who comes up to chat. From there, they move on to the running bite, also known as the pursuit and attack. For this, they use a special tool, the bite sleeve. Vigil describes it as a piece of equipment used to teach the dogs to target a specific area, namely the arm. This particular sleeve is made with a bit of leather, some
Teaching a
foam
dog.
on the inside, and a tough burlap cover on the outside. These training sleeves offer a
Adaptive defense
ton
uses
of
reeds.
protection for the person on the receiving end. You really don't feel much
Belgian
of the
Malinois.
bite. It's more like the dog is chomping down on the material itself.
Dutch Shepherds.
If anything, you might feel just a slight bit of pressure. But Dill reminds us that these dogs are incredibly strong. They can tear
Between 1 and 3
flesh,
years old.
and some have jaws powerful enough to break bones. Muyal adds that, obviously, if a full-speed
for a
dog
well-balanced.
latches onto your arm and takes you to the ground,
Does not have
other
issues.
injuries could happen. But, he argues, any of those
Fearfulness
outcomes
or
are
timidity.
still a whole lot better than using lethal force, or even some of the other less lethal tools available.
Strong, confident dog.
Likes to use its nose for
The
hunting.
dogs are also meticulously trained to stop an attack instantly if their handler calls
Defend
them
its handler.
off. Vigil admits that reining in
Purchase
that
for the program.
drive is the hardest part of the training. You're basically putting their favorite
breeding
toy
program
in
at
the
Lackland.
world right in front of them and saying, nope, can't have it.
For these young Malinois, the
Finally,
world is a new
the
place,
dogs
full of
learn
sounds
to
and
hold
smells.
their position
But here,
while their
the
handler
contingency
frisks
plan.
the suspect, staying ready to re-engage if the person makes any
Obtained
sudden
vast majority
moves.
overseas.
Something might
Vigil
happen.
confesses that when a dog is charging at her, she definitely gets a massive adrenaline rush.
Started small-scale program.
Having done plenty of extreme sports,
Establish
she
organic
says
ability.
that catching dogs is when her adrenaline truly peaks.
Until
Patrol
6 weeks
training isn't just about biting, though. It also includes scouting exercises,
7 months old.
where dogs learn to search for a hidden suspect in buildings
7
and
months
out in
is
the
first
woods.
stage.
Bass breaks down the science of smell. If a person is the source of an odor, the scent spreads out like a giant cone. You can actually see the dog working, casting back and forth in a wide pattern that gets smaller and smaller until, boom, it pinpoints the source. From there,
Expressed at that
it's up
time
to the
predicts.
handler to issue a challenge, giving the suspect one
How they're
last
gonna behave as
chance to
adults.
give up. If they don't comply, the dog
Puppies
is
that meet
sent in.
standards are selected for
The
advanced training
handler's
protocols.
call echoes through the field. Come out, or I'm going to send my dog. Get him. A dog's amazing ability to find a scent is sharpened during
Dog's
the
natural
first
instinct,
block of their
chase and
training,
grab.
which is all about detection. With a simple yes from the trainer,
All right, let's
the
go work.
dog knows
Find it.
it's on the right track. Using aids filled with tiny traces of explosives or narcotics, the dogs are
When they reach 1
trained
year
to
old.
pick up a whole menu of different odors.
30 to 50, ultimately enter.
Trainers use the classic principles of classical conditioning to fine-tune each dog's natural sniffing superpower. The dogs we watched were all between 1 and 2 years old.
suspect using a military
Green
working
explains that it's all about creating a strong link between an odor and a reward.
Shows
The
the dog to
dog
be
comes
stable.
to associate that specific smell with getting its favorite thing in the world. And to make that work, the dog has to really, really want that reward.
Vigil, or the pursuit and attack.
So, if a dog thinks its beloved ball is hidden
get it.
somewhere, it will search relentlessly until it finds it. The training simply layers the target odor on top of that powerful
hold that grip, don't
instinct.
let go.
Through endless repetition, the dogs learn a simple equation. Finding the odor
All right, easy.
means
Stay
they
right there.
get their toy. Once that connection is
So this is a
locked
bite
in,
sleeve.
they're ready for the next challenge. This room is a
Teach dogs how
canine's
to bite
version of
target
a
area.
pop quiz, filled with boxes that contain either nothing, a distracting new smell, or the specific odor the dog is trained to find. Matthew Hollingsworth
These ones provide a
explains
lot of
that,
protection.
in its most basic form,
This one just
odor
row.
spreads
This one
out.
you really don't feel
the
much.
dog picks up the scent at its faintest point and follows the trail to
biting more
where
of the
it's
material?
strongest, narrowing
Points,
it
then your actual
down
arm.
until it finds the source.
If you feel anything,
When the dog finally locates the source of the odor, it's trained to give a final response,
More than a
usually
slight
by
pressure?
sitting or lying down. Hollingsworth points out that this is crucial because the dog and handler have to work as a team. If the dog just kept moving, it would be much harder for the handler to be certain that the scent
Good
is
boy, hold steady.
actually there.
Good boy, that's a perfect stay.
After mastering
chasing
the
full speed.
box room, the dogs graduate to searching much larger areas,
Jumps up, grabs
like
hold of the
vehicle
arm.
lots and warehouses. The handlers learn that their voice
to the
is
ground.
one of their most powerful tools for communicating with their dogs.
Whole lot of other injuries.
When first
along with
introducing
that.
a dog to a search area, the handler's voice is almost like an invitation.
On any of those options.
They use a fun, exciting pitch to say things like, "Hey, check here,
training program for
look
these Malinois
here,"
is intense,
making the
but it ensures
search
they're
feel like a
prepared for any
great
situation
game.
downrange.
But if the dog still isn't getting the hint, the tone shifts to a more commanding voice, a firm, "Hey, check right here."
Dogs are also trained to stand down.
Corsetti notes that mastering these
They've
vocal
called off by
nuances
handler.
is something that just gets better and better with experience, making the communication between handler and dog incredibly precise. Handlers are also trained to be expert dog watchers, looking for any subtle
Point is
change
the
in
hardest part.
behavior that signals their partner has caught a scent. Madison
their favorite
Johnson
thing?
calls this an aggressive response.
In the world.
For this particular pup, his tail is a dead giveaway,
While their
a
handler
sudden
pats down the
sharp head snap. One second he's a furry tornado of chaotic
suspect makes
energy,
any sudden.
the next he's locked on a scent, and his whole demeanor shifts from
Get him,
class
pull.
clown to top
That's
of
it,
the
hold your
class
ground. Good work.
agent. As trainer Hollingsworth points out, every dog is different. Just like
I've done a lot of
people,
extreme sports.
each one comes with its own unique personality and quirks.
Find him.
It's a lot like teaching, really, whether
Patrol
it's
training also
elementary
includes
school
scouting
kids or
exercises.
college students. Everyone learns in their own way. But according to Muyal, one of the
you got,
biggest things people get wrong is thinking these
way that
dogs are
odor
just
works
born with a
is-
9-to-5 work ethic.
All the scent will come out like a giant cone.
The secret is, for them, the work times is times the reward. It's the best game ever. And that other big myth about them all being super aggressive, while some definitely have a more serious side, a lot of these dogs are just big, friendly
focused on detection.
goofballs who live for a good game of fetch with their handlers.
Trace elements
Deep
of
down,
explosive materials.
they're just normal dogs who want what every dog wants. Love,
Or narcotics.
attention, and maybe a belly rub.
To hone each dog's natural.
Detection capabilities.
They've just been expertly
we observe.
trained to understand that certain tasks are actually the most exciting form
between
of
1
play.
and 2 years old.
After acing their final exams in detection and patrol, about 90% of these canine recruits graduate.
Good boy.
From there, they're deployed to U.S.
So the dog relates
military
this reward.
bases all over the world,
Dog
ready
has to
for their
have
first big
value
assignment.
For the reward.
For trainer Vigil, seeing these dogs
dog
graduate
forms
is
that
an
association?
incredible feeling. After countless
dog, that's
early
it.
mornings and long afternoons,
Get your toy.
watching them qualify is the ultimate payoff. Knowing they're heading out to partner with a handler in the field and take on a real-world
Hey, check
mission,
here. Hey,
that's a
check
level
here.
of pride that makes all the hard work worth it.
Mainly those voices. Jingle. Whenever he picks up odor. Whenever he picks up odor.
To them, they get excited about work. Point and care.
Once dogs complete training. Roughly 90% of the effectiveness relies on the bond between the dog and its handler during these searches.
And pride when these dogs get out. Hant, hant.